As far back as I can remember, I've always been terrified of deep water. This elemental fear of the murky depths and what may lie beneath them turns out to be the kind of picture that Greek mythology offers in the origin of the universe. It speaks of a dark, primordial sea of chaos containing creatures and energy that we can't conceive of, who were a part of its unbelievably cold depths. But this chaos was said to be conscious and often personified in these myths with horrifying descriptions of a sort of older god, a deity that has been long forgotten or even hidden from most of humanity. Even the Christian Bible speaks of a gap or an abyss created at the beginning of time, during the separation of heaven and earth in Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and now the earth was formless and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. But is there any truth to this theory that a God brought order out of the chaos? And what kind of cosmic forces were involved in this exchange? The Mesopotamians actually believed in a primordial serpentine goddess named Tiamat. She represents the sacred feminine in many aspects, who was there at the beginning, the inception of the universe, and gave birth to all things, often referred to as the glistening one. It's interesting to imagine and think about, but to the modern person, what do any of these images and symbols mean? Surely all this talk of mystical energy and deities from the abyss is off-putting to a rational modern mind, right? But the abyss may be nearer than we think, calling out to us. We live in an age now of science and particle accelerators. Men build grand structures in the name of science and discovery. And as our knowledge grows, so does our arrogance. And it's no surprise that the scientists at Cern have actually nicknamed their grand endeavor as the Tower of Babel, with their mission being to find out what the particles of the universe are truly made of, to smash particles together and in effect return the universe back to its original chaos. A black magic practitioner and author by the name of Arthur Moros wrote a book called Cult of the Black Cube. In it, he explains that the Roman god Saturn has been revered and worshipped by countless cultures, in the past and the present. One of the reasons for the Black Cube association is that the planet Saturn itself has a raging storm at its north pole, which looks like a cube viewed from a certain angle. Moros goes on to explain in his book that the Saturn deity is not just an archetype, but an actual real being, one that can actually be contacted and summoned. But the summoner must be willing to make a sacrifice, a literal one. In order to appease this dark god, one must be willing to spill blood. He actually demands it. But what exactly stops this entity from dismantling the universe and bringing it back to its original state? The cube denotes an artificial shape, taken on after being cut away and set apart from the order of creation, becoming a restraining prison for the dark entity, being brought forth only by the skilled black magic practitioner, which Moros claimed to be for several decades. The Saturn cult reveres the chaos as sovereign over the God who brought order to it, rejecting the Creator, an inversion of Christianity. This cult of Saturn, through its malevolent and dark, destructive rituals, wishes to return the universe to its original chaotic state, so that chaos will reign once again. It's also interesting to note that before this book was published, Arthur Moros died under mysterious circumstances. Maybe other members of the cult didn't appreciate what he was trying to do with this book. Regardless of how and why he met his end, he stressed that most symbolic uses of the black cube are intentional in the context that we've mentioned here, and that Saturn is a subtle but very powerful god, infiltrating most, if not all, major religions, spreading its symbolism and influence throughout the world, while most are completely unaware. Just take a look at the word Vatican, which literally translates from the Latin as divine serpent. Perhaps a veiled reference to Tiamat? You be the judge. Now, if you're still watching this, I have a warning for you. There's a good chance that the spirit world is very real, my friends, and it's like playing with fire. Just take a listen to the words of the late, great Christopher Lee.
And I have met people who claimed to be Satanists, who claimed to be involved with black magic, who claimed that they not only knew a lot about it, but as I said, I've certainly never been involved, and I warn all of you, never, never, never. You will not only lose your mind, you lose your soul.